You see them everywhere, right? Soft drinks, at parties, at the movies, probably in your own fridge. But what if I told you that shiny can is hiding some pretty serious secrets? Today, we're going to pop the cap on that and see what's really bubbling underneath the surface.
Okay, to kick things off, just picture this for a second. Imagine grabbing a spoon and forcing yourself to eat half a glass of pure white sugar, all at once. It sounds kind of disgusting, right? Well, you might be doing exactly that and not even know it.
Because a single, pretty standard 600 milliliter bottle of orange soda has an absolutely staggering 82.8 grams of added sugar. To give you an idea of what that looks like, that is the equivalent of eating 20 sugar cubes in just one drink.
And this isn't some small thing. This scale is just mind-blowing. If we look at just one company, Coca-Cola, their own website says they sell 1.9 billion servings every single day. This is a massive global habit.
All right, now before we dive into the real dangers, we've got to clear the air. Let's separate fact from fiction and tackle one of the biggest myths you've definitely heard about these drinks.
So, here it is. Can you actually use soda to clean a toilet? You've heard the story, right? That these drinks are so acidic, they're basically a chemical cleaner in disguise. Well, the short answer? It's a no, and it's really important to get why.
Look, it all comes down to a question of strength. Yeah, soft drinks have acids, but they're weak, food-grade ones, like citric acid, the same stuff you find in a lemon. Actual toilet cleaners, they use harsh industrial-strength chemicals that you would never, ever want to swallow. It's like comparing a house cat to a tiger. Sure, they're in the same family, but one is a whole lot more dangerous than the other.
So let's put that one to bed. Myth busted. Your soda is not a toilet cleaner. But here's the crucial point. Just because that story isn't true doesn't mean the drink is safe. Oh no, the real dangers are actually way more sneaky.
And this brings us right to the heart of the problem. Forget the myths. The real, scientifically proven danger hiding in plain sight is that absolute mountain of added sugar.
You see, the calories you get from a soft drink are what nutrition experts call empty calories. A 600 milliliter bottle can have as many calories as a small meal, say 2 parathas. But here's the kicker. Unlike that meal, it doesn't make you feel full, and it gives you zero nutritional bang for your buck. No protein, no vitamins, no fiber. It's just a massive rush of energy that your body has absolutely nothing to do with.
And this chart really shows how wild the situation is. The American Heart Association says women should have no more than 25 grams of added sugar a day. For men, it's 36 grams. Now look at that last bar. One single soda, 82.8 grams. That is more than triple the daily limit for women, all consumed in just a few minutes.
And the long-term damage from this? It's honestly terrifying. We are not just talking about putting on a few pounds. Regularly drinking this much sugar is linked to everything from joint pain and liver damage, all the way to type 2 diabetes and a hugely increased risk of a heart attack. Some studies have even found that sugar addiction can be as intense and powerful as an addiction to cocaine.
But believe it or not, that mountain of sugar is just where the story begins. To really understand what you're drinking, we need to pull back the curtain on the other artificial ingredients that make up this chemical cocktail.
Okay, first up, that familiar dark brown color in colas. That's caramel color. And companies love it because it's cheap and super stable, so every can looks exactly the same. But this isn't the kind of caramel you'd make at home. It's made by heating sugar with ammonia and sulfites, which creates a nasty byproduct called 4-methylhimidazole, or 4-MI for short.
So why should you care about 4-MI? Well, for starters, it's officially listed as a carcinogen, a cancer-causing agent, in the state of California. Now, once this became public knowledge, some companies did change their formulas to lower the levels of 4-MI. But here's the catch. They often only did it in places like California, where the law forced them to.
So what about those bright orange sodas? That cheerful color usually comes from an artificial dye called sunset yellow, or E110. And you might want to sit down for this. It's a synthetic dye produced from petroleum. Yeah, the same stuff we use to make gasoline.
This stuff is so controversial, it's actually banned in Norway, Finland, and Sweden. In the rest of the European Union, products with it have to carry a warning label that says it might have a negative effect on kids' activity and attention. And yet, in many other countries around the world, it's used freely with no warning whatsoever.
All right, next up in our chemical lineup is sodium benzoate, or E211. This is a cheap preservative. Its whole job is to stop mold and bacteria from growing in all that sugar, giving these drinks a super long shelf life.
Sounds useful, right? Well, it has a pretty dark side.
Here's the problem. When sodium benzoate mixes with ascorbic acid, which is just another name for vitamin C, and then gets exposed to heat or light, it can create a chemical called benzene. And benzene is a well-known, potent carcinogen. You also find it in things like car exhaust. This chemical reaction can happen right inside the bottle as it's sitting on a truck or a store shelf.
Okay, so this all sounds pretty bad. So what's the obvious solution? A lot of us switch to diet or zero sugar drinks, thinking, hey, this is the healthy choice. But are they really a safe way out?
You see, diet drinks swap out the sugar for artificial sweeteners, like aspartame, and these have been controversial for years. Now, while many official agencies say they're safe, some really big studies have raised some serious red flags. A massive 2022 French study on 100,000 people suggested a possible link to a higher risk of cancer. Other research has pointed to potential connections with heart disease and stroke. So the science is still being fought over, but it is clear they might not be the harmless silver bullet we all thought they were.
So let's recap. Regular sodas are loaded with sugar and a cocktail of chemicals. Diet sodas have their own set of potential risks. It kind of makes you wonder, what on earth are you supposed to drink?
Now, a lot of people junked fruit juice as the healthy answer, but it's not quite that simple. When you juice a fruit, you strip out all the fiber. And fiber is the thing that slows down how your body absorbs sugar. So even though the sugar is natural, you're still getting a huge concentrated dose that spikes your blood sugar, almost like a soda does.
So, when you cut through all the clever marketing, all the artificial flavors, and all the chemical nonsense, the answer is actually incredibly simple. The healthiest, purest, and most effective choice you can make is to just drink water. It gives you everything you need and nothing you don't.
So I'm going to leave you with a thought. The next time you're at a friend's house and they ask if you want a soft drink, just reframe the question in your head. Are they offering you a refreshing beverage? Or are they asking if you'd like a glass of sugary water filled with artificial colors and chemical preservatives? When you think about it like that, the choice becomes pretty crystal clear, doesn't it?